Q1 was very easy, but there were a couple of mistakes. A bit early braking into turn 1 and got on the curb of the exit at the apex of Ascari, but still held a 4.3 second gap to Max in second with 10 minutes to go, which remained at the end but to Alonso instead, because he improved. I figured out why my mic didn't used to work. I have to plug it in after I am ready to start recording, so I hit the button that brings up the volume, I guess, and then I have to put my headphones in. That makes sense. Q2 was easier with several slipstreams from an Alfa Romeo and a Mercedes, which helped result in a 4.8 second gap to Leclerc with half the session to go, and a 4.0 second gap to Leclerc after the session was completed. Q3 was made difficult by myself as I had to do the out lap, as I accidentally clicked drive out instead of flying lap. But with some slipstream, I still got a 3.3 second gap to Norris with 5 minutes to go, and a 2.9 second gap to Max after the session finished. A couple of grammar mistakes in my typing, so I'll just fix that while you have the grid.
So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, the engineer. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Valtteri Bottas and Fernando Alonso. Ocon, Verstappen, Magnussen and Lando Norris. They've taken a grid penalty. Joe, Albon, Yuki Tsunoda and Gasly. Ricciardo, Vettel and Sir Lewis Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Lance Stroll, Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
The formation lap was very sketchy as I spun on the pit straight, and could not get the tyres to the temperature window that I would like by the time we lined up on the grid, and I also got an orange grid placement. The start was poor, dropping a few positions, but I was able to get George for the lead by lap 3. Then my only real mistake was a spin out of Parabolica, or Curve Alboreto, whichever one you want to call it, on lap 19, which I am pinning the blame on lack of awareness of loss of tyre grip. Pretty much I should have expected the loss in grip at some point and so should not have spun. Then, in the middle of the race, Mark states that we may have a problem, but luckily it was only a lean mixed fuel for about half a lap. Then soon after the safety car was deployed for multiple stops cars on the circuit. Leaving a 20-lap dash on hards to finish the race, and with that we did an extra fastest lap on lap 51. Also worth pointing out, I started 5th because of a 5-place grid penalty for the gearbox, even though for the first new engine component you take, and gearbox actually I can't remember about the gearbox, but I'm pretty sure for the first extra component you take it should be a 10-place grid drop. Anyway, we are 5th because Hamilton had to take an engine penalty as well. There you can see the safety car. Not really a 20-lap dash, is it? You may also be able to see where we got the engine stuck in lean. The 2 yellows after the pit stop, but it was a good race.